Kao što sam najavio, veliko mi je zadovoljstvo ugostiti Rika. Ovo će biti malo drugačiji live od uobičajenih live-ova. Ovdje s nama Rick Juice. Znači, čovjek koji nije toliko poznat kod nas na Balkanu, ali čovjek koji je napravio jako puno za čovječanstvo. Već dugo se ovo spremam i evo sad sam na brzinu ga složio i to je to. So, good evening, Rick. How are you?
I'm great, Crash. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm so grateful.
It's my honor for you to be here. So, Rick, for the people who sees you for the first time, can you tell something about yourself? What is your work? What are you doing?
Yeah, to keep this as simple, where you're translating, I am connected directly to Prime Creator, where I'm in direct communication with the Father aspect mostly. And having said this, in this great time, there is the great awakening. There is an ascension occurring that is essentially taking humanity from this present savage world into a harmonious, loving, abundant world. And I'm one divine delegate here to do that with many other divine brothers and sisters, including yourself. So we're doing this.
Let me translate this because it's too many information, okay? Dakle, Rick je osoba koja je povezana direktno sa božanskim. Divine, to je na engleskom puno drugačije zvuči nego kod nas, puno bolje, puno šire. I zajedno sa nekolicinom ljudi cijelog svijeta stvaraju to da čovječanstvo se uspne iz divljačkog ponašanja, ono više ja, ono uzdignuće o kojem mi već radimo par godina, zapravo nije veliko buđenje, nego veliko uzdizanje. Može bi to bilo najbolje rečeno. I'm sorry, Rick, so please continue.
So, essentially with this, at this great time upon the planet, everything that's occurring, it is occurring for a divine reason. So even though things are becoming very difficult for ones, this has to divinely happen so that they make a choice to change now. So they'll be forced divinely into making the choice. And it's about all of the people uniting together worldwide to change the world.
Ok. Znači, ovo sve što sada dolazi, ovo što se događa, će biti izuzetno teško i tako mora biti. Jer bez tog teškog događaja koji će se dogoditi, koji će trajati neko vrijeme, ne možemo se uzdići u više sfere postojanja, u višu svjetlost. Znači, ne možemo postati ono što ja zovem više ja. Okay, Rick, this will be very complicated because I wanted to take one other person to translate directly, but we are not studio, we are amateurs. Okay, so this will be. I'm sorry, I need to turn off my notifications because they are coming and they're interrupting my thoughts. 1 second.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
So basically, like I told you, I like to keep these lives very casual without any pressure or anything. So we have a much enough time, how much we need. We will use it the best way we can. So, Rick, I wanted to ask you, what is this divine job that you are doing with your colleagues, and how does GPMS is involved in all of that, and basically what GPMS is?
Thank you. So what I am doing and with others. This is absolute, meaning that there is no doubt that this is the divine plan for humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I would not be here tonight if I did not know from Prime Creator, Him herself, that this is guaranteed what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, having said that, that's why I am doing this. I'm not fully human. We, neither are you. We are soul, if you will, at the soul level. And
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter, what perspective that you look at what's occurring upon the planet, meaning if you look from prophecy or religion, it doesn't matter. This time has been spoken about, the golden age, and we're definitely in it right now. So this is what's occurring. Everyone is forced, if you will, to make a choice uh, to some degree to purify their old ways so that we advance humanity forward. So it's all divinely assured and guaranteed. But what we're doing, because of it affecting the entire planet, it is a very rapid transitioning with it that's affecting all upon the planet. So
And it's
there
speeding
is,
up.
mhm.
And
Yeah, it's
it's
speeding
speeding
up.
up.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, did you wish to translate any before I go on, or?
When you was speaking just a moment ago, I thought that maybe the best way is we continue in English, and then
Hmm.
after I will put Croatian subtitles down. I
Perfect, perfect.
so I just checked the comments, and basically people are commenting it's impossible to listen because they don't understand. The people don't understand English. Most of the people don't understand English. So my English is pretty basic. I have never learned English in school. It's just something I pick it up on the way through the years.
Hmm.
So let's continue in English. I think that's the best way, so we don't interrupt your thoughts.
Yes, I see Svita. She says, "Can you explain us how difficult it will be?" So, uh, with this, it is not difficult at all. So, with GPMS, perhaps you are aware of that, the Global People's Monetary System and Simplified Law. This is the United People creating a universal nation upon the planet that has never been done before. So this is the United People. And when you look at, we'll use the figure of 1% was the darkness, the elites, you have 99% of the people. So with GPMS, it's inevitable and it's imminent that the majority are going to choose GPMS.
Hmm.
So it's all divinely orchestrated and guaranteed as well. And for any to look at what GPMS is and what it offers to everyone, it offers your full, abundant, and free future in the
Hmm.
least. And this, and it's kept simple. It's a worldwide vote, if you will, and we're documenting the vote to make it lawful, if you
Hmm.
will. And at the time we got the majority vote, and we have it all, if you will, collected on our databases. And we just show the people, here is the majority vote, which typically, let's say it's 4.1 billion.
Hmm.
Once we have that, it's all over. Everyone is in complete freedom, abundance, happiness, and joy. And because of what this creates, the joy, You know, this is the rapture and the deliverance. But
Hmm.
what's occurring, we're doing it right here with the entire planet. So it's inevitable. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand it. So, do you remember first time we spoke? I asked you what is GPMS. I couldn't understand it. Now, years later, I understand it. So, basically, you are documenting the signatures of the people that are joining GPMS. So, GPMS Balkan is very specific region. You know, you were here. You know everything about the Balkan. Um, the problem in Balkan is that we don't trust anyone because we were fooled so many times.
Yes.
We have a wars between each other, Serbia and Bosnia, Croatia. You know, everything is because of our leaders who are put us in the wars. So basically, we don't trust anyone, and to get that level of trust is very hard. So here is like in USA, it's all about money. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
most of the people are poor. They don't have any money. So let's talk about money. What is GPMS bringing to the people, and what is the essence of the money? What is the essence of the goods that will bring to the people? You know, what base is for that money?
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand my question?
Yeah, great. Thank you. Before I go into the base for the money, what I wish to say is, let's just go into the past a bit with Yugoslavia, when all of the states, all of the different countries were all one. At that time, and, there's perhaps more of you on here that can reflect back. That was a good time in Yugoslavia. You were united. Things did not cost much. You weren't bought, by the system. But what this was, Yugoslavia was a huge threat to the elitists and the darkness. So what they did is they infiltrated, started wars, and caused the division intentionally. But it's not only Yugoslavia. Let's look at Bahrain in 1972. They did not have any money until 1972. They were self sustained, happy, but then the darkness comes in and introduced the money and the control, and it distorted everything. As for, you know, the Balkan region, because of the past inflicted animosity that was created from an outside source, because they were actually afraid of what Yugoslavia was. And I'll go a little bit deeper into this. The deep love and the compassion of the Yugoslavian people back then was one of the biggest threats upon the planet to the elite's plan, the darkness plan. So, what they do is then they got to come in, separate everyone, and break it up. But everyone in the Balkan right now, they know that. The leaders know what I just spoke about. They're true leaders, genuine ones of the people. And this message has got to be reiterated and put out there again, because not only for each one in every Balkan country, every old Yugoslavian country, um, right at this time, what I need to say is that the entire world needs to be united as one. So, very simply, separated, you fall; divided, you're conquered.
Of
So,
course.
simply unity. Now, with the trust issue, let's take Croatia, with things were getting worse and worse and worse. So, there comes a point that souls and people have to trust something. If you don't trust something, there is no direction forward for any future for anyone. You just keep getting pressured more and more and more. So it makes absolute common sense worldwide for all of the people to unite and eradicate all of these country borders and all of that separation and come together as one. So the divine plan, what actually occurred, the monetary system upon the planet was actually imposed upon humanity. And during that let's say imposition, it made humanity, each one, believe that gold or something else or an external resource was more valuable than what they were. So that was the illusion. And this is what you would call external value, where it
Hmm.
was actually robbed from the individual and tricked into thinking that gold or something else was more valuable than the individual. So
So
in this
basically,
great,
I'm sorry. So basically, people's energy, our vibration, is a value.
oh, absolutely, but it's all part of the whole. If you did not have this physical vessel, if none of us did, and we weren't on this planet, money would not exist.
Yeah, it doesn't exist in other dimensions.
Yeah, yeah. So it's the fact is, because we exist, we are the creators of that money. But what occurred, we were tricked out of that, by other ones with the illusion that no, the value is on gold or something. But
Hmm.
actually, the value comes from inside each individual. And with
Hmm.
GPMS, what we do, by the majority agreeing, we activate this unlimited value of the individual. And when we have the majority in agreement, that's why there is no limit to money. And we create an infinite money out of thin air, the same way you
Basically,
create
same,
today.
yeah, same way the dark ones are creating the money out of the thin air. It doesn't exist. It's a
Exactly.
piece
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
paper. Yeah, so great. Um, so I wanted to ask you something because we are talking a lot about it. Uh, why is it Balkan region so special? Why is so many wars here from divine point of view? Can you explain? Do you have your own opinion about it?
Well, with this again, I have to go back to that great compassion and it's heart based what was there in Yugoslavia, and it was the sharing in the community. So it was these good qualities that were the threat, if you will, to the darkness, that they had to break it up. And I could go a little bit further into it, but essentially that's what it was about. And Femke and I, we spent, uh, quite a bit of time in Croatia, and we've met many Croatians, and we were in Bosnia, or I was in Bosnia for a bit as well, and I have Serbian friends too, and in Slovenia, and
Hmm.
with this, these are very good souls, but when you look at the Yugoslavia area, you have very many powerful in their heart ones all in that area. So you're looking at the Balkan area where you have many that are in their heart space. And this difference differs from the Western world. One example I'll use with this, when Femke and I would visit our Croatian friends, if you will, one thing I loved, they said, "You sleep in our bed." You would not see that, and I have not seen that in North America where anyone gives up their bed, if you will, for another. But that is coming right from the heart, and it's also, if you will, Christ-like, that the Christ would take his shirt off his back to give another. These are the important, powerful qualities that when all are united with this one thing, it's unbreakable. And that's why we're doing it, worldwide. Having
So,
said this,
mhm.
Femke and I, we also do divine energetic work. And what we have done is we have activated in which needed to be divinely done by divine instruction, the new heart chakra for the energetic heart chakra for the planet. And it had to be done in Croatia. And when we were there, after we did this, it was only about a month or so when you had that devastating last earthquake there. And as a result, with that, which I love so much, we witnessed all of the Croatian people coming together, sending bus loads, down to the area where it occurred to help. But you also saw Serbia and Bosnia as well offering help right there. So
That's right.
throwing all of the old animosity and conflict aside and coming to assist. And
Yeah,
this was so beautiful to see.
yeah, because in the beginning of this video, you told that the governments are trying to divide us again. But when I speak with people from Serbia or Bosnia, basically nobody wants any more conflict. People would like to live in peace. So there was a tragic event a few days ago in Serbia, a couple of them basically, and Croatia was with the Serbian people. We are the the people we used to live in one area all together. So basically, we don't have any reason to hate each other. That's just a politic. But the problem is that majority of the people still don't understand that because they are in themselves, they pull them in themselves. They are very not on purpose selfish, but basically, you know, if I'm okay, I'm happy. They don't care about others. So your work is something that is great, and uh, did, I'm doing this video because I'm trying to reach the more people that will um, took this type of thinking. My channel is 3 years old. I'm working on it 3 years with other teams, but I know that in these 3 years I have learned a lot about myself. I have been able to raise my vibration and understood the people. So you are doing that globally. So thank you for that. So
You're welcome.
yeah,
Thank you.
so and Femke also. So I need to go back to the money. Okay.
Hmm.
So for example, here in Croatia or in Serbia, we have cell phones, we have credit cards, we have cash, blah blah blah. What about people in Kenya? They don't have internet, they don't have smartphones, they don't have credit cards, they don't have cash. They are very rich, like a country, because
Hmm.
of the resources. But how can we reach to them? You know,
Well,
how can they get the money?
mm,
That's why I told you, let's go back to the money.
yeah, yeah. Well, what occurs, once we get the majority vote worldwide of 4.1 billion, even before we get there, you're having a lot of volunteers that are collected, and you have an organic construction even prior to inception. And let me say, from this day right here, right now, it is very possible that from this day and a month into the future, that we could be right up to 7 billion with this. So, having said this, for someone in Africa, and when we look at, let's say, the access to the internet worldwide, like you're saying about the phones internet. There's about 47% of the population worldwide that are impoverished, you know, so much. They're in poverty that they don't have access to the internet. But what you have, as we keep collecting the voices, you do have, let's say, a few in Africa that do have phones and computers, and they are taking it to the ones that don't and beginning to collect more of the consents. So the more that join GPMS, then the more volunteers you have that are doing that. So very quickly, you know, we are gathering the consents. But I wish to make this very clear that there is no money that is released from this until we have the majority, and the majority enacts it into absolute law upon the planet. And what GPMS is, no government or any other body upon the planet can oppose it, for it's all inclusive for humanity, every child, woman, and man, every soul, and nothing can go against what it is. So it's inevitable. It is imminent. When you look at, when I say instant and imminent, I've said this in the beginning, just over 2 years ago when we publicly put it out. And when you look at 2 or even 3 years, the length of time, what that is to, let's say, the last, many millennia, it is very instantaneous, because what we're doing is we're taking an entire planet out of a savage enslavement rule and placing them into the full freedom and abundance. And we're doing this literally overnight when you look at time. So if this takes 3 years, that's only a blink of an eye in time, if you will. We're changing the whole world from the savage to the civilized with this. So we're doing it
It's a
very
big job.
quick.
It's a big job.
Yeah, indeed. And, as I said in the beginning, Chris, if I was only human, I would not be doing this. Believe me, I'd
Yeah,
be out having fun somewhere else. Yeah.
yeah. I understand you completely. So basically, it's very hard work. It's very hard to get trust of the people, and people. I would like to speak with you about two more things before we continue. People are used to getting paid for their job. So how can we switch the mind of the people? What is basically need for GPMS for someone to join? What the individual needs?
All the individual needs to join GPMS is about, 3 minutes of their time to just go on to the website and fill out the consent, which is their agreement. And with this agreement, it only asks an email address and a name and a country or a state. And the only reason that we require that information, yeah, the only reason we require that information is that we have to, let's say, have some validation of who is actually registering. So we keep it, validated.
Mhm.
So the process only takes about 3 minutes for someone to go to the website. But when they go to the website, for someone that makes it easier to make the choice, we have a page that is titled Compare Old, and the old is what you have now,
Yes.
versus the new. And there is 2 columns on that page, and I believe there's 56 articles there that shows you. And when someone just takes about 5 minutes to read that, then the choice becomes absolutely clear. Why would you not agree with this free and abundant world, not only for yourself, but for your children as well? Because every child's voice counts in this vote the same as yours and mine, and rightfully so, because this is for the full security of the child's future as well. And in reality, parents are obligated and responsible for the children. If you have a 1 week old baby, the parents are the guardians to ensure the future for that child. So the guardians can register and vote for that child.
Great, great, perfect,
Mhm.
perfect. That's perfect. I would like to ask you a question about. I don't. I know that you don't like it, but we need to speak it publicly.
Mhm. Yes.
It's Jesara and Sarah.
Hmm.
So, what is your opinion on Jesara and Sarah?
Well, the full, you know, let's just go back when it more or less began, but we'll only go back, let's say, 3 decades, about 30 years or so. That's more so when it was brought to the forefront. And,
Mm-hmm.
and all that it really is a reformation. Um, I forget the exact words, but it's an economic act.
Mm-hmm.
And Nasera and Jasera in that, in the past, and I believe perhaps even today, it includes a gold backed currency. Well, immediately when you see that again, if you place the value externally onto the gold, and it's only the elitists that owns all that, they dictate the price and the value again. So it's further pillage and keeping ones in a loop.
Yeah.
Now, also, when you look into that, there's the taxation scheme as well. Uh, in GPMS, there are no taxes ever again. They're not required. And so,
Here is
with
14%.
Nasara and Jasara, it's, pardon?
It's a
Hmm.
14% in Sarah and Jesara. 14%
Yeah.
of taxes.
Oh, yeah. Jasara and Nasara, it started off, but again, it got infiltrated to the degree that it got distorted all out. And this is also one of the reasons why GPMS divinely had to come onto the planet. Because ever since well, let's go back, even with Tesla in 1895, if you will. From that time forward, several times divinely, the planet was supposed to change. But what happened? The darkness every time
Took
uh,
over.
would not, they infiltrated. So this time, by Father, Prime Creator, if you will, he put his foot down, and GPMS is the ultimate vehicle that ends it all forever. So again, you need to look at also when they say that, Jasara and Nasara, that all of these governments, 200 or so, have signed on. Well, let's just look at this a minute. What did these 200 governments over the past few years, and apparently they signed on a few years ago, what have these same 200 governments, what have they done for the people? But even more, what have they attempted to do to the people over the last few years? So it doesn't make sense at all for the governments coming in to save the people with a Nasara Jasara package when they just attempted a mass genocide upon humanity. And that is the trick in the illusion.
So basically, in your own words, it's the same thing, different pack, okay, and we're changing the money for the digital currencies.
Could you just clarify what you have?
So basically, it's a different pack, the same thing, but with digital currency inside.
With Jasera and Nasara. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
See,
yeah.
what it's about the ones that are in control of the internet and the financial routing systems, what dictates what things are worth. And presently, the darkness are still in control and ownership of those. So if you don't get rid of the ownership of that, you keep looping in the same old capitalistic system. So what GPMS does lawfully, it unites the majority of the people to take lawful and rightful ownership of the financial routing system and the internet. And by doing that, and by using the intrinsic unlimited value, no individual can be controlled nor dictated by an outside resource or money again. So it's very important to understand the main threat to humanity is who owns the internet and the financial routing system and the banks. So this is the biggest thing with it. And with any central bank and any government, they have a central bank. So they are all one and also connected in with the elites. So you've got to, if you ever want to free humanity, you've got to take ownership of that biggest thing that is controlling humanity, and that is their banks or financial routing system.
Like CBDC.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So in GPMS, there is no money valued like a money. So money is energy. Every man who put woman and child who put some effort in some type of job, basically he earns money.
Yeah. So what we've done with this very quickly, it needs to be understood as well that we flipped the tables on the money makers. So we took the power away from the 1% and we're giving it to the 99% of the people. But at the same time, the people have the ability to use money as the good tool and unlimited. But to maintain an order with this, everyone really just won the lifetime lottery to freedom and abundance. But for things to keep the logistics and things going upon the planet, you cannot have everyone go and party, and there's people that relies on food and what have you. So to maintain an order, each one is responsible to contribute so many hours to essential goods and services
For everybody. Yeah, for
worldwide
everybody. Yeah.
community. But these amount of hours are only a fraction of what anyone is paying today. And the reason why it's only a fraction is because with GPMS, you have eliminated all war. You have established full peace, meaning there is no need for any military any longer. And you don't have all of these government and bureaucracies because you don't need any of that any longer. So, with that, and with the financial sector, worldwide, which is the biggest employer, I think, with 1.3 billion, what it employs worldwide, you no longer need that. So what you have is this huge workforce then that is able to come in and assist to focus on the essential goods and services. So when you have this huge workforce coming in and assisting and sharing with the workload, then where someone might have had to work 40 hours a week, now they only got to work about 4 hours a week because you have more that's able to do this. And with the essential goods and services, what we mean by this is the simple things that one's need, just food basically, but you also have your technologies and those sort.
Houses,
Yeah,
houses,
yeah,
place to
yeah.
live, blah blah blah. So if I understand everything right, so a group of people would work in the factory like 4 hours a week or 10 hours a week. They
Hmm.
would, for the greater good, produce, I don't know, cement blocks or bricks, or just putting some examples.
Yeah,
And the factory is giving it for free to the people that need to build the houses. So then we have another group of people that building the houses, and they are building it for free. But in for exchange, they will receive the food and the other stuff they need for their family. Is that basically the whole point of GPMS?
yeah. They unlock, their money for the next month. What we do with the inception of GPMS, with the first round of funding that goes out, it's right at this time, it's approximately $20,000 US dollars, or the highest currency, that is given to every child, woman, and man. So if you have a family of three, there is 60,000 equivalent US dollars that's given to that family, plus a vehicle free if they require it, and a free home or place to live. This is the initial payout. But at that same time, what we are doing is, when you pay everyone 20,000 or equivalent with
Hmm.
that initial payout, that's to put everyone in a stress-free place of comfort upon the planet. So it's quite possible, we'll have a week or so of a kind of a vacation with this, but maybe not. But having said this, at the same time, all of your essential goods and services providers, because money is no longer an object, they have the full amount of money that they need to do everything with. Now, see, there is the transitioning from the old store of wealth. So, what you have, let's say, with some companies, uh, they have a certain stockpile or an inventory that is actually theirs. So we have this transitional period where they're able, to sell that, where it's lawfully and rightfully theirs. But with any company that was traded on any stock market, a public traded company,
Yeah.
that is actually owned by the people. And for example, you have all of your airlines were public traded companies. So
Mm.
immediately they are all owned by the people. Now, with your electrical companies and also the governments, if you will, whoever owns the electrical, it doesn't matter. Instantly, all electrical worldwide becomes free because we are all the owners of that infrastructure. Everyone upon the planet contribute to build this public infrastructure. So you don't pay yourself any longer. So you have free energy, if you will, in that way, but you also have the free energy technology as well. Healthcare worldwide, healthcare worldwide becomes free instantly for everyone.
Because it belongs to the people.
Exactly. So the people are, if we look at this, and I love what Lee does with that analogy,
Hmm.
if you take the population, of 8 billion people, or 99% worldwide, Everyone is a shareholder of everything ever built upon the planet. They all contribute in some way, shape, or form. So you're actually having the majority of the shareholders are dissenting. They're joining together on the planet. They're having a vote to remove the executives, which was the elites and the governments. They have
Hmm.
to be replaced because they were inflicting hardship and harm that was causing death. And they were doing this through the capitalistic monetary system that created wealth disparity. You know, you have the upper class, which very few, and a
Yeah.
middle class, but then you had poverty, what they created. And in this poverty level that they created, you have about 15,000 children dying a day of starvation. But the executive in the governments, they
They don't
created
care.
this poverty level.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, it's not acceptable any longer. So the 99% said, no, you're not doing a good job. We're just replacing you with the people.
So, what do you think? What is your information about state of awakeness of the people around the world? When we started, it was very small percentage of the people that were awake. So they're starting to wake. What is, by your opinion, at the moment, percentage of the people that are awake or starting to awake?
What I wish to say with that is that, you know, there's different levels of awakening.
Of course, yes.
But when you take the lowest level, and with that lowest level, I call that the awareness coming in to, you know, the knowledge something is not right upon the planet. And so when you want to go to apply a percentage to that, you know, that's where you have, let's say, over the majority upon the planet are aware. And that is the first level of awakening. And when you look at, let's say, the protests, the amount protesting, you know, over the last few years, when you look at that, what you're seeing on the street, millions, you know, in the UK, I think 2 million at one time. But
Brazil.
what in Brazil, yeah. But what you're seeing is only the tip of the iceberg of actually how many, you know, that are disgruntled and not happy. So where you see 2 million, if you will, on the street, in that vicinity, you probably got 8 million that are also wanted to join them, but they don't have the courage to go to protest, or you know they couldn't get transportation.
Or
So
they cannot come because they're ill or cannot move.
exactly, yeah, yeah. So the numbers are actually huge. So if you look around the world and see like 100 million or 200 million standing up, and I mean, you take India with 200 million um, uh, women, feminine, you know,
Hmm.
when they protested to be able to pray in the temples 2 years ago, that was huge. So, and they won that. But when you look at again, to take this worldwide, if you have 100 million that are protesting, or let's say even if you have worldwide 50 million, you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg of a much bigger number, which could be, you know, let's say 5 billion. So when you look at this, because you know an iceberg typically it's you know 1/10 is above
It's above the
water
flood. Yeah, yeah.
able to be seen, but it's this huge monster, if you will, underneath 9/10, which is huge, that you don't see. So I use this same analogy worldwide with this. Yeah.
So I can confirm that because in my area, when I start to speak with people, the, at the beginning, if they don't know me from the Telegram or Facebook or YouTube, they are starting very carefully to speak about things. And then when they see that we are in the same frequency, they open up, so they speak, because people are afraid to speak because of the judgment of the society.
Exactly.
So that is the problem. Okay, so also I have one question that I know the answer, but I would like to for you to confirm. You told me that you are doing your divining job with a lot of people around the world. So I know how you do. I don't know how you exactly do, but I know what is the what is the I cannot find the word. Sorry, but are joint prayer or meditation helping more than the man who is praying for himself? If you understand the question. So, for example, you just mentioned the woman from India. They were banned from going to pray. So, if we, as a collective, for example, in Balkan region, pray together, what is the effect on the whole world?
Well, it has a definite effect. And with meditation, this has been scientifically proven and documented, with mass meditation. The energetics can be picked up on Earth's instruments, showing that at least it's very real, but it does have a definite effect.
Mhm.
So, this is the same with GPMS, if you will. If When you have everyone in alignment with that one simple goal, you create it and you make it happen.
Mhm.
Everything that every soul does, including praying and meditation, it all has an absolute benevolent effect on reality that keeps taking us forward. And, I love the thing which is true, what the Christ had said, where two or more gather, miracles happen. And we
Mhm.
know this. So when you have millions gathering, yeah, you move mountains. And
Mm.
that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, the problem is that people don't understand it yet, and that is what's frustrating me. Because after you told me that you're doing that for how many years? I'm doing this for 3+ years, and I growed through the years, but now I'm a little bit frustrated that people don't understand how powerful they are. What is the power of their thoughts, of their intentions, whatever they would like to do? It will do good. It will do some good in the future for themselves and for the others.
Well, basically what is true, when we change ourselves, it gets reflected out in the others in our reality. And having said this, it is a misconception by one's thinking that you need the entire or the majority of the planet awake. You don't, because there is such a thing as the hundredth monkey effect. And also, I'll use the analogy of where one master or one enlightened one affects a million people, which they actually do, a million souls. So if you look at that number of where one can affect a million in very good ways because of the butterfly effects and what have you. Having said that, then if you want to get 8 billion people, you perhaps only need 8,000 awakened ones united together that
To reach
creates
to
the
this,
whole.
yeah,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
reach
So
to
that's
this,
that's a small number, isn't it?
yeah.
8,000 uh yeah, affects 8 billion, but you don't even need that. And this is where the misconception comes in by ones. If you actually look at the evil control structure around the planet, right now in with all of the political parties, if you add up the individuals, that number comes to about 47,000 individuals are controlling the
The
planet.
whole planet, yes. Yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah. But when you have, let's say, with GPMS, once we're approaching those numbers very quickly. So once with GPMS, we go into 50,000, but because GPMS is a universal nation,
Mm-hmm.
then they are fully overpowered, and you cannot have 0.005% of a population telling the other 99.995% what to do. It just doesn't work, so it's all over.
Mm-hmm.
So you only need, which we have, is the bigger you keep, the bigger that you make this unified group, which we're doing, the rest will follow. And with this, GPMS is so easy. As I said, when they compare what they're voting on, everyone's going to choose it. So it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it overpowers the entire old structure upon the planet, and the people, are free and abundant with it.
Mm. So, what is the biggest? What is the country that have the biggest members that sign up for GPMS?
Right at this moment, we have Thailand, and Thailand is perhaps, it says on our website around 17,000, but I believe it's over 19,000. We are, let's say there was, with the number count on the website, and we're working on this, there was some inconsistency with the number. So it's a small margin of error with that. But having said this, you know, with Thailand right now, there's about 19,000. But as I speak, the Philippines is now around over 6,000. But what's occurring with that, there is what I was given today, a possibility of 10, 20, 30 million that are going to come in. And this is happening. Now, when you take that, and when you also take India, because India is over 3,000 and they've
Mm-hmm.
begun to give the word out. And India is so important because India as well, with 85% of the population of India are in, poverty, and a lot in extreme poverty. You got huge numbers there very quickly that are ready to come in. So with India, they're saying, we believe right now we can access perhaps in the next month or so 50,000. But the thing is, let's say with India, when you bring in 50,000, out of these 50,000, they are linked to many more thousands. So very quickly and exponentially this occurs.
That's
Uh,
great.
the Philippines right now is so significant, and one of the reasons is because they went through all of the hardships and trying to change, their governments to do the right things for the people. But time after time, they were tricked, if you will, the same as Croatia, the same thing. So now they know that the only thing to do is to unite worldwide, and they are coming in, and they are well educated because they've been through the experience to know that nothing else works, and that GPMS is the only way. So this, it's very powerful right at this very moment what's occurring. And as you said, the bigger the numbers get in GPMS, the more it spreads around the world, and the more that people takes notice of it, and that sets off more of a virality.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, uh, we like to think that we are very special here in Balkan region. That we are very special people, very spiritual people, but also very suppressed people. And I think that it's if the people start to waking up in the right way, it will be very soon very high. So my question for you, because it was some misunderstanding from the people that are following my channel, is what one man woman must should do when they visit GPMS.world website. It's regarding the consent. When they type they first and last name and then consent, like they sign something. So you remember when we spoke about it, because we signed so many petitions here and nothing happened. So what is that they're signing for? What is the consent?
Well, what the consent is also their individual agreement, of recognizing their God sovereign self, their autonomy, but also recognizing their full ability to create unlimited money in unison with the rest as well. So it's a very powerful statement. And with this, uh, what I need to say is on GPMS, on the website, no one needs to sign anything. It's not a signature. You can put a heart or a star or anything, just a little mark in. So it's not a signature, but what it is, it's the most powerful contract for the individual. It's not a contract, a decree,
Mm-hmm.
a proclamation is what it is. It's the most powerful upon the planet because it's based in absolute law, divine law. See, with that, what I need to say, all man-made laws are artificial and are inferior because they're not based on the intrinsic right. And essentially, what divine law is to do no harm.
That's right.
So very quickly, what the governments are doing with the capitalistic system, as I explained earlier, they are causing harm by creating that poverty level and much more. So when one goes to consent, you just I believe at this point you just put in your name, an email address, and more so your country. There's no phone number, there's no signature, but we need just something to distinguish you from another, if you will. So there's a couple simple things. It's
Basically,
not.
it's very simple. It's very simple.
Yeah, yeah. And also, even in this world, for any contract in this existing world, for it to be a valid contract, it has to um, contain an opt-out clause, meaning that at any time, any party, if they don't like the contract, that they can opt out it. So with GPMS, because it respects the individual's rights to the fullest, if you don't want to agree with the new free and abundant world,
Mm.
you can take your
It will be
consent
strange,
out.
but okay.
But here's the thing too. See, you have dark minions, if you will, that's upon the planet, and they try to infiltrate. But what happens is there's a few of them that come in, to attempt to get in to destruct a GPMS, but they cannot stay. So then they'll put up, oh, withdraw my consent,
Yeah,
take
yeah,
it off. But there's very few, that does that because really anyone would have to be crazy,
not
really crazy,
yeah,
not to
not to accept.
join
Yeah,
GPMS,
that is right.
and even more crazier to take your consent away. This is the most powerful thing ever.
Okay, Rick. So I would like to end this live. I would like to thank you so much that you came, and I will put Croatian subtitles so more people can see, because I see the numbers, and basically every time that we have live on YouTube is approximately 2,000-3,000 people in live, and then after that they look at like 15,000-20,000 people. But like I told you, small amount of people in Balkan speak English, so we will put it there. So thank you once again, and my greetings to Femke also, and thank you for joining.
Thank you. Love, light, and gratitude to all of the Balkan. And I love Croatia just so much. And the rest of it, I haven't been there
I know.
much yet. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Rick.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay.
Hey, bye now.
Lako noć svima.